You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Young and the Restless fans. Well, Summer Newman and her mama, Phyllis Summers, both have their eyes on men that don't belong to them, but that's not going to stop this diabolical mother-daughter duo. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to dive into what's ahead and how Phyllis and Summer interfere in relationships to get the men they want. But please click subscribe if you're not already following us. So we have Phyllis with her eye on Billy Abbott and Summer with her eye on Kyle Abbott. It's a double plot to abscond with Abbott men that belong to other ladies. Billy is happy canoodling with Sally, even though it's pretty casual. Meanwhile, Kyle is pretty much head over heels for Claire. He's falling hard. And it's not casual at all. It's quite serious. Neither mother nor daughter respect the other women in these men's lives, though. Otherwise, they'd take a step back and not do what they're about to do. First, let's talk about Summer trying to steal Kyle back, and then we'll talk about Phyllis making moves on Billy. For Summer, her initial issue was that Claire Newman was an attempted murderer raised by a mad woman who tried to help her kill off the Newmans. But at the same time, Summer was hyper-focused on Audra Charles, assuming that she was hooking up with Kyle simply because they were running Glissade together and had hooked up together in the past. So Summer initially had her eye on completely the wrong target. And she agreed that Claire was reformed and not a psycho and could be Harrison's nanny. And then Summer went back to watching Audra. So she didn't notice Kyle's attraction to Claire until it was already blossoming into something, not like she should have. And as Summer told Chance a couple of weeks ago, she now thinks that Claire is targeting Harrison and Kyle and pushing herself into their lives. Kind of deluded, right? Summer was griping to Chance about Claire and Kyle kicking her out of the mansion so they could sit down and tell Harrison that they are dating. That was back like mid-January. When Chance called out her jealousy, Summer lied, and she insisted that it was about Claire maneuvering herself into Harrison's life. But let's be real. Summer is super jealous, green with envy, feels totally threatened, and Kyle is saying things to exacerbate these emotions that Summer's feeling. Because on Monday of this week, Kyle told Summer that Claire was, quote, the most incredible woman he's ever been with. And wow, brutal. That had to feel like Kyle stabbed Summer in the heart. I mean, way to be insensitive, dude. And despite Kyle being like that, saying that, Summer tried to play nice and said, well, Claire's better than Audra. But in a way, for Summer, I actually think Claire is worse than Audra because Summer is going to have a lot more trouble getting Claire out of Kyle's life. At least Audra was just a bed buddy, but Claire is someone that Kyle is falling in love with. And, it's a big deal to him that he was the first man Claire slept with because it reinforced her innocence to him. Yes, she tried to murder her family, but that was because she had been gaslit by her great aunt for 2 decades. Otherwise, Claire grew up very sheltered. She's pretty naive, and she's actually sweet about a lot of things. Very different from Summer in a lot of ways, because when Kyle looks at Summer, he sees somebody who's manipulative, who's dishonest, and that sacrificed his mom over a lie. Kyle knows this is the same girl that made a bet with him that she'd sleep with Billy when he was dating her mom. Remember when Summer did that? And she lied to Kyle's face, knowing Phyllis wasn't dead, that she had faked her death and left Diane sitting in jail. So Kyle is not open to being with Summer again. You can tell there's just no interest there. That's not going to stop her. Soon, Victor and Summer are going to work together to destabilize Claire and Kyle's relationship. I'm guessing they're going to try and make him look bad to Claire because I don't think Victor would throw Claire's reputation under the bus to make her look bad to him. Plus, I think it'd be hard to convince Kyle that Claire had done him dirty. But the good news is that Kyle and Claire have some allies to combat what Summer and Victor are going to try. One of them is Victoria. She vowed to Claire that she will not let her dad pull the same manipulative moves that he did with her love life. Like they just talked about this week when she was telling her about being arrested on her wedding day because Jack brought it up to kind of force her to tell Claire just how bad Victor's been. The other ally they have, surprisingly, I think is going to be Nick Newman. Yeah, he loves Supergirl, but he doesn't like that Victor is playing God with people's lives and trying to push his daughter back with Kyle. Nick mentioned it with regard to Claire and Kyle, but also with Chelsea and Adam. Victor may think he knows best, but I do expect that Victoria and Nick think otherwise. Now, let's talk about Phyllis, who has been so long without a man. I think she has just lost the ability to function normally. All of her attention was focused on Sharon and her rage over her killing Heather. And now that it's been conclusively proven that Sharon didn't do that, Phyllis has got to focus all that angst and that energy somewhere else. And it's clear she's going to try and shove Sally Spectra out of Billy's life. Now, I will say this. I'd actually like to see Sally get away from Billy. So I am definitely cheering for Phyllis, not for Summer, but I am for her mom. So for a while now, Phyllis has been snippy and insulting about Sally when talking to Billy and anybody else who will listen. And Phyllis is not pleased when she gets rebuffed, like when she called Sally basic when talking to Summer, and her daughter said, no, Sally's incredible and creative. And then when Phyllis has been nasty about Sally talking to Billy, he's told her to stop, that his relationship with Sally is off limits. But we know it's not. Phyllis dropped by uninvited the other day and plopped herself down in the middle of Sally and Billy's Chinese takeout dinner and made an irritating obstacle of herself such that Sally just got up and left. And then there's a photo this week, Valentine's Day week, of Phyllis in Billy's arms dancing. The big question is whether it's a daydream or the real deal, because we know Sally and Billy are together in Paris this week. So maybe they get back in time for Phyllis to score a dance on Hearts Day with Billy, or maybe this is just Phyllis doing wishful daydreaming about Billy. I do expect Phyllis to play pretty dirty, to use her time alone working with Billy, on this new business to her advantage. I could see Phyllis manipulating Summer into sending Sally away on more business trips so she can have more alone time with Billy. And you never know, Phyllis might play really dirty and try and reunite Adam and Sally. If she did that, I would cheer. I do have to say that. The thing is, Billy knows that Phyllis is toxic and that they are toxic together. And Sally is different. She's a good, positive influence on him. But even though Billy knows all that, we all know he tends to choose the worst thing for him. Like, he deliberately makes bad choices, and he has a track record of doing women dirty, cheating, lies, betrayals. So while I don't think that Summer will succeed in luring Kyle away from Claire, and if she does start playing games, I think Kyle will be even more turned off because he will think that Summer's back to channeling Phyllis, so I don't think that's going to work out. But I do think Billy is going to stray from Sally and that Phyllis is going to make it happen because he just has such a deep history of doing bad things and making bad choices. But we'll see. There's big action on both of these storylines coming during February sweeps.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.